In this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps to make a shelled face. Similar to the last video, I want to show you the finished product and then use the rollback bar to show you each of the steps. One of the things that I did in creating this face assignment is I have had the rest of the sketches be something that we started on the top plane. So I wanted to give you an example of a Revolve project where you might want to start on a front plane. So, or not actually the front plane, the right plane. So if we look at the right plane, we can click on this sketch and we can see all of the dimensions. You don't want to move on to the revolve step until you've fully dimensioned your object. You can tell that it's fully dimensioned by the color of the lines. If the lines are blue, we know that it's underdefined. If the lines are red, we know that it's overdefined. So I'm going to create the exact same thing, just a little bit lower for you guys to see what each of the steps I used when drawing this shape. So the first thing I wanted to do in drawing this shape is I wanted to make sure that I had approximately the right number of lines, but I didn't care about exactly what they looked like. So I started with the top line and went down to create a shelf. I went down again to create another right angle and then stopped. The next line is going to be an arc. If I click on this tool, 3-point arc, I can start to draw. Or if I just click on my keyboard, the letter A, I can start to get a 3-point arc. So I'm going to draw an arc, and I don't care about the exact size that I get the arc to be, but I do care about which direction the center is. See how the center's on the left? I really want the center to be on the right. So I'm going to start it here and make sure that I flip it around before I stop the shape. So the center is at least on the right side of the arc. The arc's going in the right direction. I'm going to do a second arc where I do want the center to be on the left. And keep it nice and small. Another line, right angle down, line over to the side, and then a final line up the middle to finish it off. So I have not yet created a fully defined shape, but one thing I have done is I have created a shape which is closed. So this is something that we want to pay attention to also. If we don't close our shape, so for example, if I undo that last line and I redo a line that gets close but doesn't touch the final point, you can see that it isn't closed. I can fix that with constraints. I can make these two objects be coincident. And now it's closed. So just pay attention to that symbol. If it hasn't, gotten shaded in, you know that something went a little bit wrong. One of the things that I want to do before I do any other dimensions is I want to use the dimension tool to define the distance to the origin. The other shape is actually at the origin, so this is an extra dimension that I'll need. And I'm going to make it be 50 millimeters just so it's maybe actually closer to 40 millimeters, just so that that isn't something that stops it from being constrained when I'm finished. So now I'm going to walk through the shape. And what I want to make sure I do is that I move around this object in either a clockwise or counterclockwise orientation as I go through each of the dimensions. If I do too many of them at once, it won't really work. And if I jump back and forth, I'll probably end up with constraints that I don't want. So I'm going to start with the overall dimension, 100 millimeters. Oh, and see how it crossed? So that might not be the best one to start with. So I'm going to delete that one. I'm going to start with this one, 40 millimeters. And then this side is going to be 5. You see that this length is 15. And if I zoom in on this, I can see that this radius is 30. This radius is also 30. And importantly, this distance, the height from the bottom to the top, is 30. It was almost 30. It was pretty close. Now we want to zoom in on this part of the shape so I can see this is also 15, 5, 10. And this side is 50. Right, so I think we've almost filled out all of the dimensions except for this final size, which is 100. Now I have a fully dimensioned shape. And you can see how as I forced these dimensions, these two objects got to be the exact same shape. Without all of those dimensions, it's not fully defined. And even though you have the same number of lines, you don't actually have the same shape. So I'm going to use tools to delete this. We don't need two of those objects. Say OK. And see what it looks like when the shape is revolved. So revolve is one nice, easy step. You can see the revolve, you're going to select the face and the edge as the revolve axis. So just two parts of sketch 1. And then once you're done with that, you're going to run the shell command. Shell is this object right here on the 3D menu. And you're just going to click the top of the vase so that you create something that you can see into and that you could put flowers into. If you want to get a better view of what's actually happening inside the vase, because when you look at it sideways, you can't really see that it's been shelled. You can change the camera view options and the render options. So instead of shaded, you could make it translucent or shaded with hidden edges. Or tangent edges. And it's just a nice way to be able to kind of see what's going on. So that's everything that you need to create your vase in OnShape. Hopefully this sketch is probably one of the most challenging ones we'll do, but hopefully through the class you're starting to get more familiar with the menu and how to click each of those objects to force a very unique shape to be fully defined.